Understood.
Yeah.
And then the other point, I don't know whether you are able to help on this, but the sort of regulatory side of things and what's going on around, we touched on it already, around the status of employees and anything else that the regulators are after. I mean, there's congestion charge issues, there's the sort of Uber licensing stuff. I don't know whether you've got a handle on that.
I'm probably repeating what I said before, but you've definitely got an issue as to what the status of the driver is, which I know for a fact that Addison Lee is really, really well protected against, because it was heavily reviewed by the Revenue in 2013 and 2014, and was successfully concluded at the end of 2014 to Addison Lee's, satisfaction, and they, then get the piece of paper that basically says, your drivers are not employees. So you haven't got that to worry about. Addison Lee has a slight advantage in its model with the worker status, which is, the paid holiday bit and all the rest of that, which Uber doesn't, in that, because it's providing the car, what it does is it provides the car free when the driver doesn't work for a number of weeks of the year. So it operates like a holiday system, which is akin to holiday pay and, but no, if anybody was to challenge Addison Lee as to whether their drivers were workers, the advice from council, which from two different tax specialists, was that effective, or employment law specialists, was that they were workers. There's no doubt about that. But in terms of Addison Lee and its license with TfL and Public Carriage Office and all the rest of that, that has always been one of the things that it's always embraced. It was one of the reasons why it grew very well, because it did things properly in a market where it didn't do it properly, and that's it benefited from that when those regulations were introduced, because it forced the people who weren't doing it properly, out of business because they couldn't afford to do it. So where we will end up with Uber, who knows? But there's certainly plenty of press around that. It's position in terms of I'm trying to think VAT wise whether they're used to it. When they originally set up, they registered as VAT in the Netherlands, I think, but I don't know whether they've changed that or not. But no, I can't see, as much as the press loves to sort of say Uber's going to be shut down, I can't see it happening, because it's such a popular service that so many people use, and it's quite clear that the way you approach transport is sort of, certainly in larger cities, has changed in the last 10 years.
Yeah.
And it's something that's liked by a lot of people and has continued to attract drivers. I think I've not seen it reviewed, but I know there's statistics from the PTO for the number of licensed drivers over the last 10 years in London. The growth is unbelievable. I think it's like doubled. So that's interesting from metrics and all the rest of it. But then if you're an Addison Lee and you're sort of ignoring the consumer side of things, which Uber specialises in, it's not really so relevant for you, I suppose. Yep. But that would be my view on where it is at the moment.
Okay. Interesting. Anything else I should sort of think about in terms of what's going on in the sector or outlook for Addison Lee at the moment?
Look, my difficulty is that every year I get further away from. I still do keep in touch, with people in the industry, but I'm just not as heavily involved in it as I used to be.
Sure.
But I think certainly in the last 4 years, I think the way you opened up, and if you could model it on a basically B2B only business, which throws off a reasonable amount of cash and what kind of debt that could then support, is probably the best way to sort of approach it, because I think that is reasonably safe and has proven to be. If it wasn't, it would have gone by now. Put it that way. It's Uber's been around long enough. Whether they choose to change their model for that, I don't know. I mean, one of the a few years ago, one of the people that was approached to buy it was actually Uber. So, but they weren't interested in it. So, it was definitely an option. Would they want, to make inroads into the B2B market? And if they did, probably Addison Lee would be the most appropriate one to do it. It's probably,
definitely.